Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Welcome to the Department of English Government Postgraduate College, Attak. This is BSc fourth year class, and for the last uh, 3 or 4 lectures, we are discussing our first essay of the textbook, that is The Damned Human Race, that was written by Mark Twain. So let us continue with our text. The next sentence is: in the course of my reading, I had come across a case where many years ago some hunters on our Great Plains organized a buffalo hunt for the entertainment of an English earl, that and to provide some fresh meat for his larder. Now look at the different parts of the sentence to understand what does it mean. In the course of my reading means while researching for my topic, means when I was reading different books, different articles or documents in order to understand this topic, this history of man in a better way. To come across means to meet suddenly, to meet somebody suddenly, or to find something suddenly. The Great Plains, uh, it is basically a geographical area. It is also simply called the plains. It is a broad expanse of flat land, a plain, much of it covered in prairie, steppe, and grassland, located in the United States and Canada. It lies west of the Mississippi River, tall grass prairie in the United States, and east of the Rocky Mountains in the US and Canada. So it is simply an area which consists of fields, wild kind of plains, and they mean it is stretched over some part of America and some part of Canada. Now, if you look at this picture, you will find that this is the area that is what we call Great Plains, and the buffalo that is mentioned in this sentence is not the buffalo that is found here in subcontinent. It is a special kind of, you can say, animal that is only found in the Great Plain areas. It is you can see its picture here. It is also called bison. So bison or buffalo is the one that the writer is talking about, which are found in the Great Plains. Now, who is the English earl in this sentence? Earls, it is basically a title and rank of nobility in the British peerage, corresponding to the French comte or German graf or count. Now, basically, earl is a kind of title which was given to the elites or the upper class people of England and in many other European countries, though the title had different name for that. Earl is just like in here in subcontinent, somebody would be called Nawab Zada or Nawab. Similarly, it was that kind of title in Europe. So there was an English earl, and he came to America, and his hosts, his the people who were hosting him, they arranged this buffalo hunt for him in order to entertain him. That is what the writer is talking about. Larder is a room or a large cupboard for storing food. Larder is a place where food is stored. Organized mean arranged. It is past indefinite. Now look at the sentence again. the writer says that in the course of my reading, I had come across a case where many years ago some hunters on our Great Plains organized a buffalo hunt for the entertainment of an English earl. So there were some hunters who were, and this earl, he was their guest. So when he came there to the Great Plains, they arranged a hunt for him, a buffalo hunt, a bison hunt, and um they means the basic purpose of that was entertainment. As you know that people go to hunting for the purpose of entertainment, and also the second purpose was that uh, they can get something to eat, also some fresh meat. So if you look at the sentence, you will find that it is in past indefinite, as the this verb arranged suggests. And also keep this in view that when we use this expression ago, like many years ago or many days ago, for example, then we can only use past indefinite in that sentence. You cannot use, for example, past perfect in that sentence. It is a kind of rule, a grammatical rule. So what is the meaning of this sentence? This means that um, the writer says that, well, when he was reading or searching this topic about man and his status in history, and what kind of, whether he is better than animals or not, then he came across this incident. He read some this incident, this particular event in some document, in some newspaper, or in some book, where there was it was written that in the Great Plains a buffalo hunt was arranged for an English earl, and the basic purpose of that hunt was to provide entertainment to that particular earl. The next sentence is they had charming sport. Now, if you look at this sentence, had, has, have, and had are usually used as helping verbs, especially in the um perfect tenses. But here, they had is not used as a helping verb. It is used here as a main verb. When has, have, and had are used as main verbs, they um, you can say they express uh, possession. For example, I have a pen. In this sentence, have is telling us that I am in possession of a pen. I am the owner of a pen. So here it is not particularly used for the ownership, but they mean it is here, it is used in the sense that they had charming sport, mean they experienced charming sport. Charming, pleasant, or attractive. Sport mean game. So the sentence simply means that they enjoyed a lot. They mean the earl and the hunters, when they went in the Great Plains and they killed those buffaloes, those bison, they enjoyed a lot. They hunting was a kind of sport for them, a kind of game for them. They killed 72 of those great animals and ate part of one of them and left the 71 to rot. Now what happened that when these people they went to those great plains and they started to hunt those animals, those buffaloes, American buffaloes, they the writer says that they killed 72 of those great animals. Mean they killed 72 buffaloes. Killed, simple past indefinite, as the event is in the past. So It is the simple past indefinite is used here. Now they killed 72 of those animals and ate part of one of them. Now because the hunters, they were perhaps not a large in number, mean there might be just 5 or 10 people, and they could not eat all those 72 buffaloes or animals. They could eat, they could not even eat one. They just ate part of one of them. At is also the second form of eat, the past indefinite. So they just ate part of one of them and left the 71 to rot. And the other 71 they had no use for. They did not eat it. They just killed those animals for the sake of pleasure, for the sake of enjoyment. To rot mean to decay or decompose when something is left dead, and after some time it starts to decompose. So to rot mean something when if something when goes into a process of decomposition, we say that it is rotting. So also keep this in view that when we use um, first form of the verb after to, this whole expression, it is called an infinitive. And you cannot use, if you are using an infinitive, you have to use to and first form of the verb. You cannot use second form of the verb after to. So they left uh, 71 buffaloes to rot. They had nothing, no use for them. They had no use for them. They just killed them for the sake of pleasure, for the sake of sport. Now this was the incident that actually happened, and the writer read about it in a newspaper or in some book. Now what is the conclusion? I mean, this tells us a lot about humanity, about human beings who who can kill for pleasure. They would kill animals even if they do not need them, even if they do not have to eat them, even if they are not hungry, they would just kill them for the sake of pleasure. So the writer, he decides that he should check, he should test whether other animals also do that, whether other animals also kill for the sake of pleasure. So for this, what did he do? That he says, in order to determine the difference between an anaconda and an earl, if any, I caused 7 young calves to be turned into the anaconda's cage. In order to make possible, to do something, determine, to make known, to test, to check, anaconda, a huge snake. You know, anaconda is a huge snake, calves, young cows. Now, the writer wanted to check that animals, even the very deadly kind of animals who kill other animals, whether they do it for pleasure or whether they just do it because they are hungry, they have to eat. So what he did, that in order to check this difference between man, we have already seen that men who killed 71 buffaloes without any reason, and then the difference between an anaconda and an earl. Earl was that person for whom that hunt was arranged. An anaconda is a huge snake. So he wanted to check that is there a difference between anaconda, in the nature of an anaconda, and in the nature of an earl, if any, if there was any. I caused 7 young calves to be turned into the anaconda's cage. Caused here it is used that I arranged or I put 7 young cows into the cage of an anaconda, a huge snake. Now what happened there after? Now, if you want to look at what anaconda is, this is anaconda, a huge snake that kills other animals by crushing them with his body. So, um, what happened that when he put those 7 young calves inside the cage of an anaconda, the grateful reptile immediately crushed one of them and swallowed it, then lay back satisfied. Grateful, thankful, mean he was very thankful that I provided that anaconda some food. Reptile, a class of animals, includes frogs and snakes, and immediately, without delay, mm, hurriedly swallow to take into mouth, lay back, rested. Now, the reptile, mean the anaconda, he was very grateful, he was very thankful that I provided him food, and immediately he crushed one of them with his body, with those calves that he provided. He just took, selected one calf, and then he crushed that calf with his body and swallowed it, and then lay back satisfied, and then he just rested without doing, without killing any more calves. That is, when his hunger was satisfied, he did not kill any other calf. It showed no further interest in the calves and no disposition to harm them. So, the anaconda, it showed no further interest, no more interest in the other calves. He did not even look towards them. And no disposition. Disposition here it is used in the sense of inclination or interest. He did not show any interest to harm the other calves. I tried this experiment with other anacondas, always with the same result. Now, if you recall, when in the scientific method, when scientists they have to perform an experiment. It is not that they would just perform it once. They would test it time and again. When they would perform that experiment, they would test it time and again. For example, if they get one result in one time, then it does not mean that uh, they will always get the same result all the time. So in order to check whether they would get the same result in all cases, they have to repeat that experiment in sometimes many a times, 5 times or 10 times. But if in all those experiments the result came, the result comes the same, then they would uh, say that uh, this test or this result is reliable. So in order to follow this scientific method, he the writer he said that he did not just perform this experiment with one anaconda, but he performed this experiment with many anacondas in order to make his result reliable. But always the result would means it resulted the same. The anaconda, he would simply um, eat uh, one calf, or you can say he would just eat uh, according to his hunger, and he would leave the other animals alone. He would not harm them. The fact stood proven. that the difference between an earl and an anaconda is that the earl is cruel and the anaconda is not, and that the earl wantonly destroys what he has no use for, but the anaconda does not. So, what is the conclusion that was drawn by the writer? He says that the fact stood proven passive-wise, that the fact was proven by him that there is a difference between the earl and anaconda. Even though the earl is a man and anaconda is an animal, but the earl, he is cruel. Now, cruel, how do we define cruel? Cruel is someone who harms other people without any reason. For example, um, the earl, when he killed those 71 buffaloes without any reason, he showed that how cruel he was. He did not think that he had no use for those 71 animals. They are useless for him, and even then he killed them just for the sake of game, for the sake of enjoyment. So this is what we call cruelty. Now, when anaconda he ate one calf, it was not cruelty. Why? Because he was hungry and he needed food, and it is just that he has to satisfy his hunger through eating that particular animal, and he just ate um, one animal so that his hunger may be satisfied. This is all that he needed, and this is all he did. So we cannot call anaconda as cruel, but the earl was cruel, and that the earl wantonly destroys what he has no use for. Wantonly mean in a cruel way. Here it is used as an adverb. So in a very cruel way, he destroys um, those 71 animals, and even though he did not have any use for them, and but anaconda, he did not simply kill those animals for the sake of pleasure. He just killed one, the one that he needed to satisfy his hunger. This seemed to suggest that the anaconda was not descended from the earl. It also seemed to suggest that the earl was descended from the anaconda and had lost a good deal in the transition. Descend means to come down. Um, Lost a good deal in the transition means in the evolution the earl lost many of his moral qualities. Now the writer says that this seems to suggest, this seems to prove, or this seems to put forward that um, the theory of Darwin, that man is at the top and animals are at the bottom, and man is the higher form of animals, that theory is not a correct theory. It is actually the earl who is at the bottom and anaconda is at the top. So it is the earl who has descended or come down from the earl. It is not the anaconda that has come down from the earl. So it also seemed to suggest that the earl was descended from the anaconda and had lost a good deal in the transition, means that when the higher animals, the other animals, they are more moral, they have more moral sense, they have more, you can say, sense of right and wrong, and but Earl, he lost that sense of right and wrong. He is no more moral. He was doing something that was totally immoral. It was totally against the sense of right and wrong. So that was our lecture for today, and we will continue our discussion of the text in our next lecture. Till then, take care.